we're going to be looking at Chapter 8, Lesson 4, and we're going to be on page 242. Make sure that you've got your notes out that look like this, as we're going to complete those as we go through. So we've been looking at severe weather yesterday, and today we're going to be looking at how weather forecasts are made, because it is the job of those forecasters to tell us what kind of weather we can be looking for. We can obviously tell if clouds are coming in, it might storm, but what exactly are we looking at? So today our lesson is on how weather forecasts are made, and how weathermen are looking at that data. People use many kinds of instruments to collect weather data. Weather forecasts are based on the data collected. So we're going to look first at how the data is collected. What exactly is weather? How would you describe it? To completely describe a weather system at any particular place and time, you need to describe all its parts. And right away in our notes, I'm going to write that down, because all of its parts are important. And we're going to look through those parts right now. Temperature, moisture, clouds, precipitation, wind speed, air pressure, and wind direction. And as we read through, what we're going to do is write down what each of the following tools measures. So all of these parts may interact with each other and change during a day. They may even change more quickly than that. So with severe storms, the weather can change a lot more quickly than just during the day. It can be within minutes a storm can come in or stop, and that's something that's normal with the weather. Many kinds of tools measure all of these parts of the weather. Some of these instruments might even be in your home. What measuring tool have you used that is not shown here? So just looking at this list, the one thing that I know I use is a thermometer. I don't really have my own thermometer, but looking at my phone, I know that is using a thermometer. A barometer shows air pressure, so I'm just going to write, I don't need anything crazy long, just writing down what it does. So the air pressure. In some barometers, air pressure pushes mercury up a tube. The barometer shown here has a small sealed container connected to the dial. When air pressure squeezes on the container, it causes the dial of the barometer to move. And so just going down, the barometer is down here. And it kind of looks like you might see a compass, but it's not a compass. It's instead showing air pressure. An anemometer measures wind speed. The wind makes the cups of the anemometer spin around. Cups spin faster as the winds move faster. A hygrometer measures the moisture in the air. So when we were talking about humidity the other day, that'd be moisture in the air. Some hygrometers have a pointer attached to horsehair. The horsehair shortens in drier air, moving the pointer. And you can see it's just like this. So in this corner, the hair will make it move if it's drier or has more moisture in it. A rain gauge measures how much rain has fallen. So so the amount of rain falling. The top of the rain gauge may be wider than the bottom. This allows the gauge to catch more rain when a small amount falls. It also makes measuring small amounts of rain easier. Radar can measure the winds and precipitation inside a storm. So I'm going to get that down. And remember that precipitation isn't just rain, sometimes that can be snow, hail, can all be a part of that. The radar station sends out energy similar to signals from a radio station. Some of the energy bounces back from objects, including raindrops. Changes in the returning energy show the direction and speed of a rainstorm. So there is the rain gauge and then the radar. So it looks like this, but just the different instruments that are used to collect weather data. Going on to weather forecasts. Have you ever noticed any daily or seasonal patterns of change in the weather? For example, temperatures have a pattern of rising and falling during each day. So if you think about even every day, it's always a little bit warmer during the day, and then at nighttime, the temperature usually cools down. Another pattern of temperature changes occurs throughout the seasons of the year. Temperatures rise and fall from January to December. There are also seasonal patterns of precipitation. Spring often has lots of precipitation. Weather forecasters observe many patterns of weather change, and that can go right away in your notes that that's their job. The forecasters is to observe. They use the information from the observations to make inferences. And you might hear about inferences during reading. It's based off of what you know, an educated guess. So after you observe, maybe it looks like it should be sunny, then I can infer that it'll probably be sunny throughout the whole day. These inferences are conclusions of how air, land, and the steps of the water cycle affect each other to make weather systems. Forecasters then can predict what the weather most likely will be in the future. Forecasters make their predictions by thinking that the weather will now behave like similar weather conditions in the past. So forecasters make predictions based on um, previous, based on observations. We'll go with that. Observations about past weather conditions. So they're always looking for patterns throughout their forecasts to help them do better with that. So the more similar the conditions are, the more likely they will develop in the same way. The more information forecasters have when making this comparison, the better the predictions will be. What I want you guys to do is on your own read through the weather maps. This tells you a little bit more about how the meteorologists work to make the forecast. This, if you're watching the news and you see the weather, this might be like something you see often on the news. So this is one that I'm going to let you look at on your own. And then what we're going to do is jump into our worksheet. For worksheet, do not forget to put your name on it. And then as far as this top part goes, make sure that you're using your notes to help you out with it. This whole part will help you with the first couple problems. And then as far as the true and false goes, I'm just going to help you out with number 8. Number 6 and 7, we've already gone through. Number 8, that is actually in your book in that section that you're reading on your own, but I don't want you to miss it. The fronts generally move from west to east. And on here it says from east to west, so I know that this is false. Number 9, it says, suppose that you are a television weather forecaster in your town. Write a short script describing tomorrow's weather for your town. What I want you to do is you can just go on to, if you go to weather.com and then you put in Milwaukee, I went to the 10-day forecast. You can look at the different weather for the next 10 days. And then I want you to write down what the weather will be like just the very next day, not the next 10 days, just the next day. And then you are going to be all set to go for lesson 4.